Hey everybody, welcome to our new show. It's called Positive Eco Talks. And what we wanted to do was, there's so much negativity going around. People are every time you go onto Facebook now, Instagram, any of it, you just see all this fighting about politics and the thing is we don't think that that's a very healthy way to live every day. So, those of us that are really concerned about the environment, we are watching a lot of distressing things happening here in our country, and we need to get together and talk together, all of us. Let's just have a conversation. So, grab a coffee, grab a tea, grab a drink of any variety, and join us as we talk about some positive eco news because there's amazing things happening all over the world. While here in America, we fight over what bits of protection to either strip away or keep, and we're losing a lot. Our environment's losing a lot, and we're in a lot of danger right now. So we really wanted to talk about what's happening with the environment, and let's find something super positive. So every day, come join us. Every day, we're going to sit down, talk about a piece of positive eco news. And I'm here, and Sierra's here as well, producing the show. And everybody knows Sierra from our previous productions. So she and I were just talking about this the other day, and we said, "Gosh, it'd be nice if we had a community to just have a little bit of coffee with and talk positively with." And here is our show as an idea for that. So let's talk about Japan debuting the world's first plant-powered racing engine oil with 194% more strength. Now, why is this important? Okay, we talk a lot about they try to dump the responsibility onto the consumer always. We're the ones adding all the plastic in the world. It's not the plastic makers or the Coca-Cola company. It's us, Joe Schmo. So, we are always being blamed. Turn your lights off, recycle your plastic, but very rarely does industrial size and industrial strength pollutants and polluters come under the scope for change. Now, this is huge because this could revolutionize emissions because when you think about all the racing cars, all the races around the world, these engines run at a higher amount. They run at a higher output, and for them to have reduced emissions is incredible. Can it be brought over to our cars? It's a big question. If it can be done once, it can always be done again. So there's also not only is a great story for the now, but it is a great story for the future as well. So let's see. We'll talk a little bit about the story here. Now, this story just came out a few days ago. So here we are again. This is the Engine Patrol article, and this is talking about, there we go, this engine oil. Now, it sounds amazing. Plant-based sounds very healthy, but there is a little bit of a catch, and we need to talk about some of this. So let's talk a little bit about this here. What do we've got? Here we go. Hey, everybody. All right, and everybody, please join the chat. Let us know. What do you think about this? To begin with. So first of all, let's talk about this particular innovation. So this was done in Japan. Now, what they said is that they're using plant-based raw materials for over 80% of the base oil, and this base oil is certified by the Petroleum Institute as race quality. So now this all sounds very, very good. But okay, now why is it a positive thing? Let's talk about the positives before we talk about the negatives real fast. The positive is that at this higher efficiency rate, the engines aren't going to have to churn as much, which means you don't use quite as much, and the emissions are reduced. So it, overall, it says it reduces about 50% lower coefficient of friction than the competitors' other oils, which means that it'll run smoother, that requires less of it, and also it outputs less of the leftover. So it burns cleaner and more efficiently. So this means that it's going to really help the climate. Now, if we can get NASCAR and we can get Formula One, and we can get all of those other racing groups that we love, to start to do this. This would be pretty amazing. Now, the challenge of it real fast is that they say that they're using plant-based things. Well, what exactly does that mean? That means that they're also using palm oil. So they're using a few different types of oils, but one of them is palm oil. And as we all know, that is a huge problem. It also comes from rapeseed and sunflower oils. But the palm oil is where we really have to say, okay, we love this idea, but it still needs to be a little bit better. It's kind of like vegan meat. It's wonderful, but we need to get rid of the single-use plastic. So we have all these great solutions that are getting closer, but we can't get lazy as we get to the final lap of it. So that is the one thing about it that we're not that excited about. Hey, Elizabeth, thank you for joining. I see you there. Absolutely doesn't work on humans. I wish, and wouldn't hemp be a better alternative? That's a great question. I'm really curious to see what they're doing. They're doing so much research in hemp oil, and I wonder how it would burn. So I think that is a great question. And thank you, of course, for joining us here today. It's always great to see you on our chats. There we go. And so let's keep checking it out. Let's keep looking. These are great steps forward. And like Elizabeth said, is it, can we use it yet? For us, it would be fantastic. We need to, basically what we want to do is reduce all of our petroleum-based products in the world, whether it's plastics, oils, gasolines. The entire world has been calling out to reduce the use of this. We tried to reduce the use of it by getting rid of plastic straws. Turns out that in our country, we heard they explode. So, the paper straws explode. So now everyone has to use oil straws. Not quite sure if anybody believes that. But this is the problem is in our country, in America, we are pushing a lot of petroleum-based. The oil and gas companies basically run our country. We're seeing that right now with the removal of all protections for nature in pursuit of profit for these companies, which have already quadrupled their profit in the last few years anyway, but they want more. And unfortunately, we're about to provide that for them. So, we need to get away from the oil and gas solutions. And that's why this is so important. And that's why it's also cool to see because, this happened in Japan. I don't think that any scientist would be allowed to pursue this type of inquiry and this type of solution inside of America. What do you guys think? Do you think? Oh, yeah. What do you think about scientists? Are they bought and paid for? And if so, is that the problem, or is the problem what they're being bought for? Why do companies never bear responsibility? Why is it always the end user? Why is it the scientist? Why is it the people that are hired bear the brunt of it? Why is everybody upset about, people that come here to work as immigrants? And if they're illegal, why don't they ever find the companies that hire them? Why are companies always responsibility free? That's a sickness, and it's a sort of I think it's an illness in our thinking that we have that we need to fix as a society, because until we fix that sickness, we are going to continue to make the same mistakes that we keep making. Elizabeth says 100% the money hoarders don't like good science. And, that is true. They do need science that backs up what they want. Now, on an interesting side note to all this, oil and gas were the first people that really, really, really investigated and understood climate change. Yeah, they were, because it's essential to them surviving. I believe it was Exxon started the very first climate investigations, and because they wanted to know, like, what's going to happen to our oil, what's going to happen to our profits, because when when nature is your moneymaker, you need to make sure that it's going to stay there. So pretty interesting that it started there, although they ended up denying it later on, but it came from there. So this company sort of runs everything over here. Outside of the US, we see these amazing innovations for oil. So could be very cool. If corporations are people, they should be accountable for their actions as we are. Yes, we agree 100%. And I think it's time that people in our country are starting to demand that, because we're being left behind in the pursuit of profit. And so nobody wants that. So anyway, it's great news. We wanted to share this with you guys. You know, all around the world, we're seeing these amazing innovations that are challenging the status quo, challenging the way things were done, and trying to offer new solutions, healthy solutions for a cleaner future. So this one's a really great one. So will the racing community embrace it? That remains to be seen. Love to hear what you guys have to think about it. And we'll see everybody tomorrow. Please join us on YouTube, Facebook, anywhere you can. Come on in, have a conversation with us. It's great to sit down, have some positive eco news. And we're going to go through a positive eco story every day, because every day we need some positivity. Like I said, let's combat all this negativity. Unless they're negative ions, we don't want them around. All right.